Welcome and welcome back, everybody, to the OK Grognard Show. Today is Wednesday, April 30th, 2025, 10 a.m. Central in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. And what's going on today? Today, a conversation came up over the last week or so about the Chessex Dragonskin book covers from the 90s, and I used them myself, so I thought I'd expound on my use of them. I will say right at the top, some folks don't like them. Vince himself in the chat. Welcome, Vince. Thanks for stopping in. The problem with them for some people is that they say they get sticky and can ruin a book cover. I have not found that to be true, nor do I really care. I don't buy books as collectibles. I buy them to use them, and I like the idea of having covers on the books. In my experience, what I have seen is that if somebody just leaves their backpack full of books in their car on a hot summer day, 80 degrees or higher, 85, 90, depends how hot it gets in the car, right? Not what it is outside anyway. But if they do that, it's vinyl. I mean, it can get kind of melty. No doubt about it. It's vinyl. And also I have heard people say that sometimes there'll be some cracking or some splitting for the where the pockets, where the covers slip into the pockets. I have not had that experience either. But I will also say that I know that if these get cold, so if you leave your books in your car, backpack or no, all winter long, these are going to get cold, and they're vinyl. And vinyl can get damaged by the cold. It can make it brittle. So I don't know what the exact situation is for anybody who's had these problems, but I have not personally had these problems. That doesn't mean you won't. That doesn't mean that one run of a particular cover didn't use one vinyl and vinyl got sourced from somewhere else for a different run of a different cover. I don't know all of that in Chessex. These started coming out in 1990, 35 years ago, right? And I like them, and they're real simple. I mean, they still have on their website, and I'll put a link in the show notes, for blank ones available on their website. They're a little tricky to find, though. You got to search for them directly. I don't think the link on the site gets you there. But I picked up a few of those and was using those for other things. But for my D&D books, I like... Oh, is the wrong way. The chaos symbol one is the one I use for my player's handbook. I've bought a few. I've replaced a few that I had years ago, and picked up a few different lots on eBay. So I had one or two duplicates that I passed on to other people, but that's just the way it goes. But hey, let me see if I get this other screen. Yeah, there we go. So that I use for my player's handbook. I like that one. My buddy Dan, back in the 90s, who I gamed with, would use one of these for his player's handbook. And it's it's one of two chaos symbol ones that are available, or were made. And both of them use red. Everything else uses white on a black cover. I use this one for my DMG. I like having the Reaper Man This is a Grim Reaper 1 is what they call it. That previous one, they don't call it the chaos symbol, but that's what it is. Notice that little block toward the bottom where I think they suggest you can jot in the name of the book that's inside the cover, so you don't have to open up the book to see what's been wrapped up. The Magic User 2, also from 1990, is one I used for my monster manual. I thought it was neat. He was summoning a monster. I like Unicorn 2 for my Fiend Folio. This was also 1990. Most of them, I think, that I've seen originally came out in 1990. There's a few that are from different years, but 1990 again for Dragon 5V, that is. Note this doesn't have a place to jot down the name of the book on this one, yet it was from 1990, and being Dragon V, or Dragon Roman numeral 5, the assumption is it wasn't the first one they made with a dragon on the cover, right? I use this for my monster manual too. Then we start to get into some offbeat ones that are a little less medieval fantasy-ish. This one, I mean, it's a mind flayer, right? But that has all sorts of Cthulhu-esque. It's from 1990. The artist who signed his work, Tevez, I don't know that artist. I'm unfamiliar. I hope I'm not pronouncing that wrong. Obviously did that work in 89, and then they used it. Notice again, no spot to write down the name of the book. I used this for my Unearthed Arcana, I thought, given what it represents, that was fitting enough for me. The pyramid with the eye on it, of course, that Illuminati symbol. It's the logo of Steve Jackson Games, and they licensed the image to make a Illuminati Chessex Dragonskin book cover. This was from 94. Hey, I should note, if you go looking for these, even though it says Dragonskin all one word on the actual product, there are places where people put them up as Dragonskin 2 words. So if you're doing a search for these, search by both, because you may find some in a place you didn't expect to find them. Note the Fighter 2 from 1990. Again, no place to write down the name of the book that's inside, but I use it for my Wilderness Survival Guide. Looks like he's outside in the dark. There's that same artist. Again, 1990 he did it, and they put it out. What do we got here? This was interesting. 1997, Chessex Midwest Open House. It's got the chaos symbol, but it's in white. Obviously 97, right? Chessex Midwest in Fort Wayne, Indiana. There's their P.O. box. They got their phone number and their fax, in case you want to fax them. I use this for a non-first edition book. The only one that I actually reference from time to time for various reasons. It's the Dungeon Master's Guide 2 from the 3rd edition era. There's a wonderful version of Saltmarsh in there, not the exact one from the adventure that it was in, but rather an updated one from some years later. So it's a bigger town, and it details that town over the course of 20 some odd pages. So it's very well detailed, and it is an interesting example. I would say it is a good template for how to organize a village or town or adventure, or not an adventure really, but there are hooks in there tied to various NPCs and personages within the town, but it really is a mini setting, a town, and Saltmarsh is, well loved from the early years, so they did that. Vince says, I have a couple of these. One is black, but I can't remember what was on the cover. The other is tan. Yes, there was a tan one. And has a tome or old book on the cover, if I remember correctly, says Vince. And yeah, that indeed is the case. Hey, congrats, Vince, by the way, I should say, during the show on your Odyssey single from the prog rock band you're in, the Maroon Room, dropping. And, while we're talking about things in the air, since that was the last cover I have to show, I'll wind her up and also say, hey, next week is the 7th of May. It is a couple of months past the 5th year anniversary of the OK Grognard Show, but it is going to be the date of the 500th recorded show episode of the OK Grognard Show. If you add up all the ones that came before, they're numbered, so you just got to look for the last one from each year and add those numbers together. Some of the early ones I've deleted. They were hours long, fumbling on Board Game Arena, or me blathering on with bad audio in some of the early shows, and they just weren't keepable. There's some others that are almost as bad that I left up because I think they have some value, although quite frankly I wouldn't sit through them. I don't suggest anybody goes back to the archives and just watches everything that we ever did. So don't do that. Whatever you do, pick and choose, do a search for something you specifically want to know about, whether it's Gary Con or EGG Con or some first edition topic like magic users or spells, or, there's any number of keywords. I have a few playlists that I threw together from certain things. You can see by the title of the playlist what is in them, more or less, and then look down what's in them and decide if it's something you want to watch all the way through. But cherry pick these things. These are not. This is a show that if you enjoy being a part of it, like Vince does, you can come join the stream, the chat in the stream, and comment as you like. And if you enjoy a specific topic, old school gaming of one ilk or another, but specifically first edition's what I focus on here, and Lake Geneva gaming and gaming adjacent stuff. Obviously Dragonskins from the 90s is not, but I like them, so I thought I'd do a little show on them. Next week, what's up? I don't know yet. I'll tell you what, though, 500 is a milestone, and I hope everybody appreciates some of what I've done and finds some usefulness out of my pontifications. So, by all means, check out the show next week, and we'll have some fun with it. Let me just close her down. Thank you, Vince, on the congrats. I appreciate that. This has been the OK Grognard Show, looking at the Chessex Dragonskin book covers. We stream the show live on Twitch each Wednesday at 10 a.m. Central, and then it's archived on YouTube. Like, subscribe, follow, comment, all that good stuff. It'd be very much appreciated. And also support the channel, even at the free level on the Patreon. Enjoying such illustrious company as Tom Tullis of Fat Dragon Games, Carlos Lysing of Castle Entertainment, Heath Farndon of the Antipodes D20, Dave O'Brien, of course, unauthorized user, Heidi and Eric Gygax Garland of Gaxland, Vince Ragusa of the Maroon Room, that fabulous prog rock band, Daniel Caldwell of Griffin and Gargoyle, We got Christian Garcia, Stephanie Lesniewski-Gruchow, Cera Toppilopkus, Colin Szablewski, and as always, Shane Bradley, DM Extraordinaire. This has been the OK Grognard Show from beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Thank you, and bye-bye.